To bring up some of the nice darks in the face, I actually started using a pen, especially on the eyeliner of the wolf and in certain areas of the gums. And what's really nice about seeing the image from this distance is look how well it reads. It's pretty clear readability. It pops out, off the page, and that's what animation is a lot about. Good design has good silhouettes. The readability is clear, and it doesn't get too confusing, too complicated. Because when something is so complicated, it's hard to look at. It becomes unappealing. It's nice to have a simple shape design, and once you draw the audience in with a nice two-dimensional shape, then you can do whatever you want in terms of how far you want to take it and what style you want to go with. You can either, render it to a great extent or keep it pretty simple. The two-dimensional shape, a nice pleasing shape, pleasing silhouette is the bait to get the viewer and draw them in. Once you draw the eye in, then it's up to you to how you want to render it and really show the form and what you really want to accomplish with your design. Now in this design, I chose not to render too greatly. I didn't really work on the lighting so much, keeping it kind of generally kind of more tune shaded and more flat. Just bringing out a few different areas of highlights to really help direct the eye where I want it to go. I use different colors for the teeth. I don't want to keep it white because I don't want to actually distract from looking at the muzzle, so I'd use a yellow or a cream, and really playing with different shapes and not making everything uniform. You really want to be careful of too much symmetry in your design, so push for asymmetry. And we as artists, we're meant to fix things in our brain and make sense of it. So when you're first starting out as a designer, subconsciously things will become even, will become symmetrical, might make your volumes redundant, and you really have to push to make it asymmetrical and be conscious of it. The more and more you design, the more your experience grows, the easier it will become and become second nature. You don't really have to think about it. But first off, you have to be very conscious of many things about being a designer. There's so many things, there's so many design mechanics that you need to address. areas to really bring out the strong highlights, as I've done, with a lot of my artwork, especially when dealing with something that's either tone or color in this aspect. Use whiteout for the highlights in the eyes to make them really shine, and to give that glimmer in our eyes. And doing something on a surface like this on chipboard, it's very easy to show form. You kind of use the canvas or the chipboard tone as your mid value, and just a few darks and a few lights, and it can really bring out a form. Going over it with a darker pencil just to really lock in a lot of the silhouette, make it pop a little bit more. So just to recap, character design is not just about what they look like. It's not just about shape play. It's a lot about personality and who they are. You want to understand your character before you actually sit down to design them. So just realize that you got to have a good grasp on who they are, and not just what they are. And then you'll bring that out in the design. It'll really affect your choices. Harder edges, bigger shapes, softer shapes, expression, posing. All that comes into play when designing who they are, and not just the what. So really think about story. I mean, that's a big part of it. You want to make your characters very intriguing. You want the audience to get to know your character. And if it comes across clearly, then you've done a successful design. Appeal is also a big part of character design. Making your characters appealing is a lot about shape choice and silhouettes, but it's also about that personality again. That's all plays into a big part of it. And I might be repeating myself by saying it, but it's so true. It's so true. There's so many designs out there that are designed beautifully, that look great, but they feel dead. There's a lack of life. And you want to really bring that out in your own designs. You'll make your stuff more successful and more interesting to those around you. So as you can see here, kind of to the finishing touches, and I'm just going to hit up a few harder edges on the tips of the mane, and give some style to the actual hair follicles in there. And also, I'm being very conscious of how those hairs coming out the side will help lead the eye around the page. It'll help become part of the composition. So at this point, it's just a matter of really seeing where the character's at, feeling that it's done. People ask me a lot, like, how do you know when it's done? Well, it's really up to you. It's up to the artist, Does it do what you set out to do? For me, does it have a nice sense of design, a nice shape play? And then, of course, is that personality there? But by this point, I would have already gotten it. I would have known if it wasn't working. And sometimes I'll go back to designs after I've finished them and just pull out a few what I feel are problem areas, or highlight some areas that I want to accentuate. And in further chapters, we'll talk more about design mechanics and more specifics about character design.